Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rhiannon and today I've decided that I would like to film a Halloween vlog for you guys. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I am currently on half term. It is the 30th of October, which is the Monday, and that means that Halloween is tomorrow. Now, I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to structure this vlog. I didn't know whether I wanted to do a 24-hour readathon. I didn't know whether to do the timer method or not, so I still am not too sure yet. I feel like I'm leaning more towards the timer method, but to be honest, I feel like it's just going to be a chill day today and tomorrow where we celebrate spooky season and read some good Halloween themed books. Of course, I will be doing some other things throughout this vlog as well, but I did want to focus it mainly on the books that I will be reading because I do have a good selection of books here. Now, I am definitely being very ambitious. This is the stack of books that I've pulled off my shelf. These are all of my spooky books that I would love to get to. Don't worry guys, I know that I'm not going to get to all of these. That would be absolutely impossible, but I definitely have two that I would like to get to, and then the rest I'm just going to see. I'm going to mood read, see what takes my fancy and go from there essentially. But the first book I'm going to be reading is a recent purchase of mine. I am really excited to get to it as well, and that is You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Bayron. All I know about this one is that it's set at a camp and our main character Cassidy plays the role of a final girl. However, when her co-workers start disappearing, it seems that Cassidy's role as the final girl is actually going to come true in real life. And it just says here, if Charity and her girlfriend Bezzy hope to survive the night, they'll need to figure out what the killer is after. But as they unravel the bloody history of the real Mirror Lake, Charity discovers that there may be more to the story than she ever suspected. This just sounds like it's going to be a creepy but very fast-paced book. It's also quite short, so it's perfect for a readathon. Also, how amazing are these sprayed edges? Absolutely love it. But yes, this is, I'm trying not to spoil myself, around 230 pages, so I definitely feel like I can smash this out this morning. The next book that I will be prioritising is Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shay Earnshaw. I believe I picked up this book last year. It was when it first came out, and I don't think it's been out that long. No, 2022. So yeah, I got it last year. It's been sat on my shelves ever since, waiting for me to pick it up, and of course, how could I not choose it for this readathon? If you couldn't tell, this is inspired by Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, and in this story in particular, we are focusing on Sally. And I feel like it's going to follow the same structure as The Nightmare Before Christmas because we have Sally, who is newly crowned in the role of Queen of Halloween Town, and she's starting to think that she's traded one cage under Dr. Frankenstein for another. That is until her and Zero, who is such an amazing character, find a hidden door that goes into Dreamtown, and I'm guessing that they get up to some chaotic things there. So I'm very excited to see how this one goes. I may even watch The Nightmare Before Christmas tonight because I haven't watched it yet this year, and I feel like that would be the perfect excuse to do so. It's also a short book. It looks like a chunky one, but it's only 300 pages, I think, and the writing is quite big, so hopefully this is another one I can fly through. And then the other books that I have, I'm just going to hold up quickly, show you guys what they are, and then as I mentioned, when I've hopefully finished these two books, I can move on to some of these books at least. First up, we have Apt Pupil by Stephen King. Then we have Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I have put The Haunting of Hill House on here, but I haven't heard the best things about it, and so I'm not sure whether this is one that I will pick up in this vlog, but I wanted to show you guys anyway. Then I have Dark Matter by Michelle Paver, which is a ghost story that I've had on my TBR for years and I've just never prioritised. Another one that I'm not too sure whether I will get to it, mainly because of how big it is The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry. Then I have A Multitude of Dreams by Mara Rutherford, which is a book inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. I have The Dark Tide by Alicia Jasinska, which is one of my self-destruct books this year, and I really do need to get to it, otherwise I need to unhaul it. I have The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. And lastly, I have Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. So I do have a really good array of books here that I can choose between. That is essentially what I wanted. I didn't really want to restrict myself in any way. I did think of using the Spookopoly board by Becca from Becca and the Books to get some prompts in order to choose what I was going to read. However, I just want the freedom to mood read. I haven't really been in the best space these last 2 weeks, mainly because of work things, and I just haven't had time for myself, and I've been been putting some sort of pressure on myself to read, so I'm gonna take it quite easy with this readathon. I'm gonna call it a 24-hour readathon. Whether I read for 24 hours or not is up for debate. Speaking of that though, maybe it is better that I just do the timer method, because then I can start the timer whenever I read and pause it when I'm not, because I'm not going to lose out on my sleep, guys. I need it way too much. I'm also going to the gym today. I'm also going to have to take Kiwi for a walk. So there are going to be a lot of factors that mean I can't sit down and physically read throughout the day. So do you know what? I think I may do the timer method. I'm going a bit rogue here, guys. I haven't done it, but I've always really liked the idea of it. So I think that that is what I'm gonna do. So let me get it up. It doesn't actually let me time 24 hours exactly. It's 23 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. But if that's the best we can get, I'm just gonna go with it. So I think that actually may be a good idea. And then even if I don't finish out the books that I wanted to read by tomorrow, I can always carry it over until the 24 hours ends. But either way, you're gonna get some Halloween content throughout, which I'm very excited for. I can't wait to dive into my 2 priority reads. I will be starting with You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight, and then I will move on to Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. I feel like these 2 books are definitely doable, and then we'll see with the rest of them, guys. I honestly am not sure what I'm feeling like, and I feel like after having read these, I will have more of an idea of what I would like to pick up then. So I'm gonna end this clip here. I'm gonna start the timer, which I will of course show you guys, and I'm gonna sit down and read some of You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight first, and then I will update you guys once I've read a good chunk of it. I don't think anyone's sprinting today. I was gonna host some sprints, but I don't know if I am in the right frame of mind to do that, so I'm gonna put some old sprints on and just sit down, focus on these books, and hopefully get a good chunk read. So it is currently 25 to 11 on the 30th of October, and I'm actually really excited for this readathon, guys. I cannot wait. I don't know when it'll end, because obviously if I'm doing the timer method now, it's not really set in stone, but yeah, I feel like that's gonna take a bit of the pressure off for me. I'm still gonna have a really good time reading, and yeah, I'm just very excited to get to all of these spooky books. I am about an hour and 20 minutes into the readathon according to my timer. I have 22 hours and 42 minutes left. And I have just hit the 100-page mark of this book. Now I have moved upstairs because Tom is watching something downstairs. It was fine when he was playing his Xbox, but once he starts watching stuff I have to go to a different room. Otherwise I end up watching what he's watching and I can't concentrate. But I am up to page 102 of this, so I am about halfway now. I don't know how well you can see that. And I must say I'm really enjoying this, you guys. It is definitely creepy and it reminds me so much of Friday the 13th. Because as I briefly mentioned earlier, this book is set at a camp, and essentially it's a kind of horror simulation sort of camp where we have a group of actors who are trying their best to scare people. It's a full contact event as well, so they can push people, shove them, restrain them, everything like that. And let me tell you, I've been to a few things like that and I'm a massive scaredy cat, so reading this and seeing how scared the people who are playing get is just, yeah, it's bringing back bad memories, let me tell you. But I am really loving it. It's a very fast-paced book. I feel like so much has happened already. The setting is also really interesting because we are at a remote camp set by a lake, and within the first few pages of this book we are told that some of the other kids who work there have left abruptly. They didn't tell anyone they were going, and when the friends go and check their cabin, it's a bit of a mess. They have left rotten food there, they've left old clothes, girls, and one of them has left a broken phone. So I don't know how these characters are being so chill about it. I would definitely be terrified by now, especially as one of our characters has started seeing a figure by the lake and has been hearing splashes in the middle of the night as well. Now, for any rational person, if you heard some splashes during the night and saw a figure and 3 of your friends went missing, surely you would come to some sort of conclusion that something dodgy was going on and that your friends may be in danger. But these characters are just like, oh, they left. That's a bit rude, but I'm sure they'll be fine. We'll have to just carry on without them. And yeah, it's a bit of like a what moment, but I'm really enjoying it. I love that we have an isolated setting. I love that we have a small group of friends. The horror simulation aspect of it as well is really interesting. And why I say it's like Friday the 13th is because we have a masked figure going around with a machete that is killing people. And essentially it's based off of Camp Mirror Lake, which was a cult classic horror film where the main character had the mask on, the machete, they were going around the camp killing people, and every time they killed someone, their power grew. And it got to the point where by the end of it, this person was so stealthy that, yeah, essentially killed everyone. So we are getting to a very intense point now where things have happened, and of course I'm not going to spoil it, but one of the friends decides to phone his grandmother to kind of ask her what is actually the deal with this camp. And she's just said, the summer I worked there, 6 people got killed, but they were never found. And then it kind of goes on to static, blah 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 blah. She says people died there, 6 kids your age dead in one night. And the grandmother is like stressing out, telling them all to leave. So that's where we're up to. And yeah, it's a bit crazy. The camp has had to kind of shut down because of some incident, which again I won't go into, but I feel like this next 100 pages or so is going to focus on an intruder in camp, and I feel like the events of the past are going to reoccur here again. So really loving this one. I want to say sorry for any shakiness. I am just holding up the camera with my hands and I keep switching around because my arms get tired, so I do apologise, but I wanted to film this update quickly now. To be honest, an hour and 20 minutes and me reading 102 pages is pretty good going. I did put sprints off after Tom came home. He went out to get some things for me. I'd ordered some Christmas presents for my nieces from Argos, and so he went to pick those up, went to sort out some other bits that he needed to sort out, and he got me a Starbucks on the way home, which you might have seen. I got the Ghost Frappuccino, and yeah, Kiri was very interested in it. So I've had my coffee for the day. It was very cold, but I did like it. And yeah, as soon as he got in, I put the sprints off so that he could play his Xbox, and then now I've come up here to the library. As you can see, it's a bit of a state. My ghosties have fallen down, so I need to sort that out. But yeah, I'm just gonna sit here now and try and read a bit more, but it's a beautiful day. It was raining this morning, but as you can see now, we have blue skies, which is lovely. It's like a crisp autumn morning, afternoon, which is some of my favourite weather. So I'm gonna try and read a bit more of this. I don't know how much more I would like to get to. Maybe I'll get to page 150-ish before taking Kiri for a walk, and then I'll have about 100 pages left. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm flying through it, and it's definitely giving me the scary vibes that I was after, but so far it's not been too intense. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I know it's a YA, so it might not be as scary as I maybe would have wanted it, but who knows, it might get very creepy and atmospheric as we go on, and obviously as some of our characters have to face whoever's wandering around the lake. Right guys, it is a bit later now. It's currently 20 to 4. I have just taken Kiri for a walk, which is why I put on my glasses, because I can't leave the house without my glasses because I can barely see. I'm fine with reading up close, but anything far away is not great, and obviously taking a dog for a walk and having her off lead means that I need to keep an eye on her. So glasses are on. Sorry about the glare in advance. I know it's really annoying. I've tried to kind of move my setup a little bit so that it's not as obvious, but I currently have 21 hours and 29 minutes left on my timer, which means that I've been reading for 2.5 hours. Kiri has made an appearance. If you see her, I apologise. But I am very happy to say that I did finish You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight before going on our walk. This was such a good book, you guys. I had a really good time reading it. I'm glad that I was able to dedicate the time to it and read it in more or less one sitting, because I feel like it's the type where you're just so engrossed in what's going on, and then in the last kind of 50-60 pages I could not put it down. I know I said I was going to get to page 150, but I flew past it and I didn't want to stop, so I thought, you know what, whilst you're in the reading mood, carry on, smash it out, and that's what I did. It was so suspenseful. We had a lot of revelations, we had a few plot twists, which I did kind of expect one or two. I knew that they were going to happen, not until kind of the build up to it, but as soon as someone kind of came to the situation, I was like, oh, okay, I know what's gonna happen now, and I was right there. But then there was another plot twist and I was just like, oh, and then the ending was just, oh yeah, it was really good. For someone like me who is new to these types of books, I'm not a horror reader, I am such a scaredy cat, so this was really good for me. I feel like it was just the right balance of it being suspenseful and gory, and yeah, I just think it was a good horror for me to start with. I've just noticed that I've kind of put my tentative TBR here, so I'll try and get it down without them falling on top of me. I didn't actually, oops, I didn't mention earlier, but I am currently reading Misery as well. This is a book that I've started before this readathon, and I'm up to page 150, so I'm more or less halfway there now. It's my first Stephen King book. It's absolutely terrifying, but I'm having a good time with it so far. I feel like it's just gonna get worse and worse though, and I'm just gonna be really creeped out. But this is one that I want to save towards the end of the readathon, and maybe even just read afterwards. I would love to read it before the end of the month because it is the last book that I need to read for Spookopoly-thon. So this might pop up tomorrow. I don't know. I could kind of do 50 pages today and then the rest tomorrow, but I want to pick up books that I mentioned in my TBR. So I do think I'm going to dive straight on into Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shea Earnshaw. I just feel like this will be a really fun novel. I am familiar with the characters and the world except for Dreamland, of course, so I feel like it will be very nice to dive into this book and see what happens with Sally as queen as well. So yeah, I think that's going to be the case. As I mentioned, it's currently 20 to 4. I'm going to the gym at around 6:30, so I do have quite a bit of time to sit down and read this, though I do need to make a start on tea, so I'll have to take a chunk of time out somewhere to make that because I'm making a turkey bolognese, which can either be a bolognese or lasagna really, so it's a lot of prep work and a lot of time for it to simmer and things like that. So whilst it's simmering I can definitely just carry on reading, but the prep work unfortunately will mean that I can't read. So I'm gonna try and sit down. Will I finish this before the gym? I don't think so. It's 300 pages. I'm being very ambitious, but if I sit down now and just dedicate the next 2.5 hours to it, we'll see where I'm up to, and hopefully I will be quite close to the end because I just feel like it's going to be a very easy book to fly through, and it's going to be a fast-paced book that I can finish relatively quickly. Right guys, this is going to be a very quick update because it is now 6:20, which I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see that, but I promise you it's 6:20, which means I need to leave to go to the gym in about 5-10 minutes. I'm the one driving today, and Sean, who is Adriana's boyfriend, as you probably know by now, is already here. He landed just as I was coming up to film this update, so we do need to head off in a second. However, I have been reading. I currently have 19 hours and 40 minutes left, so I still have quite a ways to go, to be honest with you guys. I've been doing really well time-wise, but I have started Long Live the Pumpkin Queen and I am up to page 190. So I've read this big chunk here and I just have this little chunk to go. It's about 110 pages, I think. Yeah, this book is exactly 300 pages, so I should definitely be able to finish this tonight. I'm not sure whether I will update you guys later on tonight. I feel like I've done a lot of updates today, which is very unlike me. If you've been watching my vlogs for a while, you will know. I tend to leave quite a big gap between my updates just because I feel like I repeat myself otherwise. But with doing this 24-hour readathon, I need to keep you guys informed. So it's taken me 2 hours, if that, to read almost 200 pages of this, which it probably should have taken me less time, but I really struggled to get into this book initially. I don't know why. I just think that the writing is very simplistic, which is great. It's geared towards a younger audience, and I feel like you do need to be familiar with the story of The Nightmare Before Christmas because it is referenced throughout, of course. It talks a lot about the different doors that we've seen Jack Skellington go through in the first film, and even though we see a lot more in this, you do kind of need that background knowledge. So the start of this book is very repetitive in the fact that it does go over the events of that first film, and so I think that was my main issue. I was just like, right, let's get on into the story. I know what's happened in The Nightmare Before Christmas. What are you gonna give me? And now that we have gotten into the plot, I feel like I'm really enjoying it a lot more. However, again, it's quite a slow-paced novel considering I've read it really quickly, which is a very weird contradiction, but I just felt like it was a bit of a slog, but then again, when I check my page count, I have flown through it. So I think it's the fact that it's quite simplistic. There's not much depth to the plot. We are with familiar characters in a familiar setting, if again you've seen the film, and it's only now where we've really gone somewhere else and things are happening. But the stakes are definitely getting high now. The end of the chapter that I've just read, which was 13, was very important, and I feel like it's going to change the tone of the novel. And I'm excited to follow Sally and see how this all wraps up, because essentially in this world you have different doors that lead you to different places, and it's all based around celebrations in the world. So we have a door to St. Patrick's Town, we have a door to the Easter Bunny, we have a door to Christmas Town, Valentine's Day, all that sort of stuff. 4th of July I think is another one. And Sally actually stumbles across a hidden door by accident. It's further into the forest, it has been covered by leaves and vines, and it's by pure coincidence that she finds it, and she goes to open it. However, Zero, who is Jack Skellington's dog, bites Sally's arm and tries to tug her away, but because Sally is a ragdoll, her arm comes off and Zero runs away with her arm and Sally chases him. Now what she doesn't realise is that she has actually left this door open, and it is a door into Dreamworld where the Sandman lives, and the Sandman has actually been exiled from Dreamtown because he was creating havoc. He was putting people to sleep in order to steal their dreams, and now Sally has let him loose into Halloween Town. He's put everyone to sleep, and when she goes to the other lands for help, she finds that he's done the same there as well. So she's completely alone and decides to go to Dreamland herself to try and ask for help. But it's not as simple as that. There are a few surprises along the way, and yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes from here and how everything is resolved. But as I mentioned, I have to put a stop to the timer now because I am off to the gym. I normally don't get back until about 8:30. My class starts at 7, and depending on how long it is depends on when I get back. But I still need to cook dinner. I haven't done that yet, so that's going to be fun. I'm not sure whether I'll want dinner today though, because I'm not feeling too great and I've just had some toast to kind of keep me going, so we'll see. I might put it off until tomorrow again, but I should really cook it. I may film some clips of me there if I can. I think it's going to be a quieter session today. A few people have messaged saying that they won't be in the class tonight, so we'll see. If it's quiet enough, I will try and get some bits filmed for you guys so that you can see what I get up to in these classes. It is different every day, but I have the best time with it. I think I prefer it that way, the fact that you never know what you're actually going to get until you turn up, and it can either be a circuit, it can be some sort of pyramid workout, it can be a you go I go workout, it can be a more cardio based workout, a more weights based workout, a mix of both. Honestly, yeah, it's a big surprise when you land there, but I love it. It keeps me on my toes and it keeps everything fresh and fun. So I'm heading off now. I'm extremely cold, which is why I've put on this fleece. And then I am wearing these leggings from Honor Active. They are the new limited edition birthday range. I can't remember what the name is, but they're a kind of teal colour and I absolutely love them. They're my new favourite. So I am wearing a cute matching set today just to make myself feel a little bit better. But yeah, they are my go-to gym leggings and sports bra actually, and I just love them so much. So if you're looking for some good gym clothes, they are a little bit on the pricier side, but they are so flattering, they're so comfortable, and I feel like they are some pieces that are going to last years. So on that note, I'm gonna head off, otherwise I will chat for way too long. But yeah, I'm gonna come back home later on, hopefully finish this book before bed, and maybe read something else. I think I'm gonna put a poll up on Instagram actually with the other books that I am tempted to read. I may just use emojis and ask people to choose my next read based on the emojis. I feel like that would be fun, so yeah, I might do that. If I do that, I will pop the picture up on screen of the emojis that I've chosen. And before the next clip where I reveal the choices, please do take your guesses as to which books you think these emojis represent, because I feel like that would be fun. But it's 28 minutes past, so desperately need to go, and I will chat to you guys either later on tonight or more probably tomorrow morning. Happy Halloween, guys. It is October the 31st. I honestly can't believe it. I feel like this month has flown by, but as you can tell, it's very late at night. I say late, it's 5:30, and I'm only just updating because I have had one of the busiest days. As you saw, we took Kiwi to the beach this morning, bright and early. I think we were there by about 8:30. It was lovely. There was no one there, but the tide was in quite a bit, so we didn't spend too long there. And another reason for that was that we actually had a Ring doorbell notification, and there were some workers outside, so we could speak to them through the doorbell, and they asked us to move both of our cars because they were doing some tarmacking work on the road, which would have been fine except for the fact that they just showed up and expected everyone to just move. Whereas, as I've mentioned, Tom and I were at the beach. There were some people on holiday because it is half term for us at the minute in Wales, and we weren't notified about this work at all. So yeah, they essentially closed the road. We moved all our cars and the noise was awful. So we decided that we would kind of take advantage of the situation. So of course, as I mentioned, we'd been to the beach, and so we decided to take Kiwi to a new pet place that has opened up quite locally to us. Mum and I actually went there a few weeks back to get her some toys and some treats, and I spent over £20, and when I was there was an offer on saying that if you spent over £20 you could get a free dog wash, and so we took advantage of that today. We took Kiwi there. I will pop a picture of it up on screen now for you guys because she really was not sure about it. She looks so scared in this photo, bless her. She really wasn't sure what to expect because we've always just washed her in the bath. But it was a very professional setup, and then this happened afterwards. So she did manage to jump out of there, but she is nice and clean now. She is honestly so soft. It's so nice to just cuddle up to her. And then as soon as we got back, my mum landed with my nieces, so we took Kiwi for another little walk. I entertained them for quite a while. Then Tom and I had an appointment with a solicitor, which I'm not going to go into, of course, but you will hear more about that soon. And now I have finally gotten in. I've put tea in the oven. I made us a lasagna, which is why I'm only just sitting down to update you. Now I am going to the gym at around 6:30 again today, so I don't have a lot of time before that, but I was just so cold I had to put my hoodie on to get nice and comfortable. We are also expecting some trick-or-treaters soon because even though there aren't many around where I live, or at least the past few years we haven't really had a lot, I have got some sweets. I've put the porch light on so that they know that we're a house that I suppose they can come to, and I have been planning on putting these ghosties in the window, but who knows, I may do it, I may not. We shall see, because I don't have a lot of time, as I mentioned, and I wanted to update this vlog. I'm gonna have some tea, though I am debating actually whether I want to save my tea until after the gym, because I'm the type of person that can't really eat a meal before the gym because I will feel sick. So who knows, but anyway, I did actually end up finishing Long Live the Pumpkin Queen last night. I finished it at 11:10. I stayed up because I was determined to finish this one yesterday, and I ended up giving this one 3 stars. It wasn't my favourite book of all time. It's actually very simply written, but it's one for the fans of A Nightmare Before Christmas. So if you love that film, you will probably enjoy this one. I didn't really connect with it that much. I thought it was very simplistic, as I've mentioned. I feel like it was quite slow at parts, especially the beginning. I really struggled to get into this for some reason, but it did pick up. I really like seeing more of Sally and seeing her background because we don't see too much of that in the film, so seeing that throughout this book was lovely. Also, Zero in here is just fantastic. He's one of my favourite characters, and oh, he just melted my heart in this one. I definitely don't think you need to read this book. I think it's perfect for spooky season and Halloween especially, because we do have Halloween Town. But other than that, I feel like I could have not read this one and it wouldn't have affected anything about my life. But it's nice to have read it. I see why people do love it, because the writing is very easy to fly through, and of course we're spending time with familiar characters that we know and love. But in terms of my enjoyment of it and in terms of how well written it is, I think a 3-star is fair, and it was a very nice easy read which was perfect for this 24-hour readathon. I say 24-hour readathon, but it's spanning across a few days now. But yeah, that's why I'm enjoying the timer method. I feel like I'm just so busy at the minute that committing myself to a 24-hour readathon as in one day would be almost impossible. So I'm glad that the timer method is working. I am getting through quite a few books. And then, as I mentioned, I did put a poll up on Instagram. I hope you guys have had some time to guess what the emojis were. But the way I put them on the poll was like this. So we had, and I have to double check, a typewriter, some snow, and an axe for misery. I put a crown, a vampire, and a magnifying glass for hunting Prince Dracula. For Home Before Dark, I put a house, the night sky, and a knife. And then for Dark Matter, I put a ghost, an anchor, and some snow. Now I will pop the results up on screen for you guys now, and you will be able to see that the winner of the poll was Hunting Prince Dracula by Kerry Maniscalco, which I am desperate to read. I didn't really want it to win the poll. I feel like I wanted Home Before Dark to win, just because I'm not sure when I would get to this outside of spooky season, because I feel like it would terrify me. But this one won. I'm very excited for it. However, with it being the last day of the month, I actually would love to try and finish Misery by Stephen King first, because I am halfway-ish through this book. It's the last book that I need to read in order to complete my Spookopoly TBR, and I feel like it would be nice to just get this all wrapped up, because I feel like I've been reading it for quite a while. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you are aware of what this story is about. It is my first Stephen King book, which I know is crazy. As I mentioned, I'm a scaredy cat, so the fact that I'm even picking this up and attempting to read it is very strange for me. But yes, I wanted to get into King. I got Stephen King on the Spookopoly board, and so I picked up a book that I have been wanting to read for the longest time, which is Misery. I have watched the film, and I can say that it is terrifying. Kathy Bates is fantastic as Annie, and yeah, she scared the life out of me. I watched this film when I was way too young to watch scary films like this, and it traumatized me completely. But yeah, I'm diving into the book now, and so far I am really enjoying it. Now, for those of you who don't know, in this one we follow a famous writer called Paul Sheldon, who is responsible for writing the Misery books, which is a kind of historical fiction set of novels following our main character Misery. One day though, he is involved in a car accident, and Annie Wilkes, who is a nurse, is the one to find him, and she brings him to her house in order to help him get better and recover from this car crash. Now, it seems as though Annie has good intentions. Paul is actually her favourite writer ever. She is obsessed with the Misery books, but when she finds out that Paul has actually killed off Misery in the latest book, she does not like it one bit. I don't really want to say too much more, but this is a very hard book to read in the fact that there's so much psychological trauma in this. We also have body horror, so if you're not comfortable with that, probably stay away from this. It is just so strange because it's only these two characters that we're following, which should make it a very strange book. However, I feel like I'm not bored by that. I feel like it's really interesting to see these two characters and their dynamics and their relationship throughout this book. However, it definitely does drag at some points. But one minute Annie is extremely happy and she's very friendly and she wants to do the best for Paul, and then the next minute she is essentially torturing him. She has these depressive episodes, which is what they're called in this book, and throughout the book these episodes get worse and worse. So yeah, it's very creepy, it's very disturbing, but it's not one that I'm wanting to just put down and never pick up again. I am interested in it and I want to carry on reading to see how it all plays out. It definitely is creepy to read, and I have found myself skipping forward a few pages to read the first few lines of the next chapter because I've just been kind of so scared for what is gonna happen to this character. And so that is definitely the sign of a good book. But yeah, absolutely terrifying, and I'm currently up to page 184. I think when I started reading this one today I was on page 150, so I've not read read too much, but I'm gonna sit down now before I go to the gym and try and read some more of this. I probably won't update you again tonight because I do need to take Kiwi for a walk at some point. I'm gonna have a shower. I'm gonna have my tea at some point, whether that be before or after the gym. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have a lot of time. Plus, I would love to watch some Halloween films because obviously it's Halloween and I want to get into the spirit of this holiday by watching some of my all-time favourite Disney films such as Halloween Town, Twitches, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Hocus Pocus. I'm obviously not going to watch all of these tonight, but yeah, they're some of my faves. But I would love to get further into this. I still haven't had a lot of revelations yet, so Annie is still a bit of a mystery. It hasn't escalated to the point that I know it's going to either, so yeah, that's in store for me. I feel like I'm not going to want to put this book down when it does get to that point, so maybe I will fly through it, we shall see. But yeah, this is the plan, and then after that I will start hunting Prince Dracula. But I'm not even thinking about this one yet because I know that this one's going to take a lot out of me and it's probably going to have a deep impact on me as well. Right guys, it is almost 10 to 1 on the 2nd of November. Please excuse the fact that I skipped a whole day yesterday, but I have now finished Misery by Stephen King, and I'm not too sure on my rating for this. I finished it last night and I think I just need a little bit more time to gather my thoughts, but I did enjoy it. It was very creepy and scary, and I'm really glad that I started my first King novel. I will give you a more in-depth kind of review later when I'm showing my face, but to be honest with you guys, I am not having the best morning. I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I'm still in my UD at almost 1 o'clock, but I do need to go to the gym later, so I will update you guys before then. However, I think for now I'm going to dive into Hunting Prince Dracula. I've spent this morning editing. I do still need to edit quite a bit, to be honest with you guys, but I want to make some time for reading now before carrying on with that. It is a very stormy day today as well, so if there's a break in the rain I will take Kiwi for a walk, but other than that my plan is to sit down, read some of this book now, have some lunch, edit some videos, and check in with you guys once I have some more to say. Please excuse the absolute state of my library right now, but I was just about to film and Kiwi has decided to join me. Now she's very interested in my cuddly toys. She's also been very interested because I had a mince pie with custard, as you may have seen, and she's desperate to get to the bowl. But I thought it was about time that I update you guys on my progress because I haven't spoken to you for quite a while. It is currently Friday the 3rd of November and I have 7.5 hours left. Can you see that? There we go, it's finally focused. Yeah, just under 7.5 hours left, which I honestly can't believe I still have this much time left because I feel like I've just been dragging this out and I'm really sorry. But as you can see, I'm on the sofa in the library again. I am actually wearing a Halloween top just because I feel like I didn't really give you guys much Halloween content and I'm really sorry about that. But I've just been in a very strange mood this week. I feel like I haven't really done much even though I've done loads, and I feel like dragging this vlog on has just been a bit of a slog for me for some reason. I just haven't been wanting to update you guys. Mainly because I'm aware that this vlog is going to be really long, and as well as that I don't want to just keep repeating myself when I talk about the books. But as you saw, I did read Misery. I finished that one the other night. Was it last night? Oh my gosh, I've lost track of time. It was last night, but yeah, I finished it. Had a good time with it. I'm still not too sure on my rating. I don't know if it's a 3 or a 4. I was definitely scared and creeped out, but I feel like I wasn't to the extent that I should be. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being weird, but the story itself was really interesting. The way it wrapped up was fine. I feel like everything happened pretty quickly, but that may just be my opinion. I just feel like having a 300+ page novel occur between two people in an isolated setting and then all of a sudden it just be over was kind of like, oh, okay. But I am very happy to say now that I have started Hunting Prince Dracula and I am currently over halfway through, I want to say. I'm up to page, of course it doesn't have a page number, 285. So I've read the bigger chunk and then I have this smaller chunk left. So if I close it, you might be able to see better. Oh wow, I'm way over halfway. I've done really well, guys, but yeah, I have this last chunk now that I want to get through tonight. I do have some time. I'm not sure if Tom and I are going to go to the gym tonight, actually. We might do. I'm very achy from this week's sessions as it is, but I feel like if I leave it till Sunday, which is what we normally do, I'm just going to seize up and I'm not going to want to go even more. So I've got tea in the slow cooker. I'm making campfire stew. I don't know if I showed you guys, but yeah, that's cooking away. It looks lovely, and I saw it actually on Brogan Tate's vlog. It was one of her home vlogs that she did, and she mentioned that she was making it, and I realised realised that I had the same book. It's a Pinch of Nom book, and so I looked at the recipe, decided to give it a go, and I will let you guys know what it's like after I have some. But going back from my tangent, Hunting Prince Dracula is so good. I'm really happy that I have picked this one up very soon after reading Stalking Jack the Ripper, because last time I tried to read this I only got about a chapter in and I put it down and never picked it back up again, so I'm so glad that I persevered. This one is very interesting. We are following the same characters as we were in the first book, however they are of course dealing with the events of that first book and how everything played out and who Jack the Ripper was and the revelations that came alongside that. And so a very big aspect of this book is actually PTSD and how you move on from something like that, especially when it relates to a person that you thought you knew and a person that you loved, and how grief stays with you and kind of creeps up with you when you least expect it. And I really appreciate that. You guys know I lost my auntie very suddenly about 2 years ago now, and I definitely have moments where I have better days and then I have moments where yeah, I'm not doing as good, and so I feel like that is very well represented and well done in this book. The setting as well is brilliant. We are in Romania and we are, as the title suggests, hunting Prince Dracula because a series of murders have occurred and the bodies have either been impaled with a stake or they have been drained of their blood. So we have one or possibly two killers on the loose, and our characters in here are of course trying to figure out who is killing them, what is actually going on, but they have a load of obstacles in their way, as you could expect in a YA book. It's not as straightforward as that. There are so many different people as well that could be responsible, and I honestly have no idea who it actually is at this point, but we've had a lot of shocking revelations. I am very excited to see where it goes from here. I'm not sure if I'm loving it more than the first book. I feel like I'm flying through it a lot quicker than I did the first book, but that may be because I'm doing this timer method for my readathon as well, and I'm conscious that I only have a specific amount of time to read it, so that might be a factor, but I'm really enjoying it. I would highly recommend you guys pick this one up if you read the first book, because it's such a good time. I love the setting, as I mentioned. The atmosphere is top notch because we're of course in Romania in Vlad's castle as well, and our characters are studying forensic science there. Now they're competing for a place because there are a lot of candidates but there are only 2 places available, and so there is also that tension and drama going on. And of course whilst all of this is happening, murders are occurring and one of their classmates is actually killed. So yeah, the stakes are pretty high, so I'm gonna sit down now and carry on reading. I probably won't update you guys now till I finish this, and I feel like at that point I will have to choose my last book for this readathon. I've currently read 3, this will be my 4th one. I will kind of look at how many pages I've read and then see how much time I have left before going on to choose my hopefully final read, because I really don't want to carry this vlog over into tomorrow as well, because tomorrow is going to be a big filming day, hence the mess you saw all around me. And yeah, I just want to get on with my November TBR now, so I don't know, maybe I will pick up a book that I have been planning to read in November, because we are currently in November now. October's been and gone sadly, but I don't know, I kind of want to wrap this vlog up with a spooky book, so yeah, maybe I'll put another poll up on Twitter or Instagram. That's the only way I can make decisions apparently, but yeah, I'm gonna sit down now with my hot chocolate. I didn't have whipped cream unfortunately, so I just had hot chocolate with marshmallows, but as you can see I've drunk quite a bit, and I'm gonna carry on reading. So I will update you guys once I've finished, and hopefully it won't take me too long. So as I mentioned, we've got 7.5 hours left. Let's see how long it takes me to finish this book. I've just finished, guys, and oh my gosh, I loved it. I loved it. I don't know if it's a full 5 stars or a 4.5. We shall see, but it was so good. Anyway, I now have 5 hours and 34 minutes left, as you can see. So I'm not doing too bad, but I can definitely read another book. It is currently 7 o'clock though, which is pretty late for me, not gonna lie. I am going to take a break from reading now though. Tom has actually asked me to go down and watch Loki with him, because that is a series that we both watch and love, and the episodes are released every Friday, and today is Friday, so I'm gonna go down now, watch that with him and have tea. Then I will choose which book I'm going to read next. I'm still not too sure. I don't want anything too long because I feel like I won't have the time to read it, but then again I don't want anything too short because I don't want to finish it and then still have a lot of time left on the timer, so we'll see. Hunting Prince Dracula was so good though. The characters, guys, oh my goodness, I absolutely love them, and even though I kind of guessed the twist, I'm not really that mad about it. I love how the reveal came about and I love how it was handled. I will say I feel like it wrapped up pretty quickly, but the scenes after the reveal were just amazing and I cannot wait to read the next book. I could actually read the next book, which is Escaping from Houdini. Should I do that? I don't know if I should do that, guys, because I am like properly in the mood to carry on reading this series. I don't know, am I just gonna go rogue? I might do that, we shall see. But yeah, loved it, such a good time. So glad I decided to pick it up, and I'm so glad that I read it so soon after the first one and that I read it relatively quickly as well, because yeah, I've just flown through it and I've really enjoyed it. So we're doing fantastically so far. I know I said I'd give you a page count, but I haven't worked it out yet and I am not going to do it off the top of my head. So I'll do that whilst I'm having tea and watching Loki, and then I will check back in to let you know which book I will be reading as my final book for this readathon, so that I can finally get this vlog ended and wrapped up for you guys. So yeah, 7 o'clock now. I will check back in as soon as we've done all the bits that we're going to be doing tonight. I've decided, guys, I'm just gonna do it. I'm going to read Escaping from Houdini because I can't stop thinking about it, and it just makes sense because obviously I've started this series pretty recently and I am loving my experience, so I do want to carry on with them. I don't want to put it off and not pick up the next books for a few months like I did last time, or in last time's case actually it was a few years. So I have decided that I am going to be reading this one. Kiwi is down there, if you can hear her. What's the matter, Kiwi? What's the matter? Why are you crying? Do you just want attention? Do you want the viewers to say hello? She's like, yeah, put the book down and pay attention to me. So yeah, I am going to be starting this one now. Probably cuddling up with Kiwi, and I will talk to you guys about it once I have some thoughts. It is finally time to close out this vlog for you guys. It has been a very long one, and to be honest, I just wasn't feeling like updating you when I was reading Escaping from Houdini, so I'm really sorry that you didn't really get my thoughts in real time for that one, but I feel like the vlog is long enough. I couldn't really say too much about it anyway because it is the third book in a series. What I will say is that unfortunately I didn't enjoy it as much as the first two books. I feel like this is my least favourite, and it's not because of the lack of whimsy or anything like that. The setting of this is perfect. We are on a cruise ship, so we have an isolated setting, which you know I love, and a string of murders start occurring during the carnival performances on board. Now, I absolutely love that. I love how all of that was performed. I loved the intrigue, the drama, and I just liked having a look into the circus. Now, what I didn't like was the characters in this, which is such a shame because if you've seen the last clip, which obviously you will have, you'll know that the reason I enjoyed Hunting Prince Dracula so much was because of the characters, and some decisions were made in this one that I just don't agree with. I feel like our characters wouldn't respond that way. It ended a bit strangely as well, and I just don't know, guys. It had me very, very confused. So unfortunately, whilst I did love the murder mystery element to this, and whilst I did love the performances, I did give this one 3 stars. As I mentioned, it's my least favourite in the series so far, and that is just because of the character interactions throughout this. We also have a weird love triangle going on, which I just wasn't a fan of, and I feel like it could have been done better without all of those elements because it just took me out of the story. It was a little bit unbelievable, and as I mentioned, I just don't think it's true to the characters either. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this one. It is a good book. I'm glad I read it. I actually flew through this one. I read it pretty quickly, and it does have me looking forward to the next book because I want to see how everything's resolved. We are once again in a different setting, and I believe that the fourth and final book, which is Capturing the Devil, focuses on H.H. Holmes, who, if you don't know, was an infamous serial killer in the United States. A lot of people connect him to the Jack the Ripper murders here as well because he was visiting the UK at the time that those murders were committed, and he is the person who came up with the Mid-death hotel. So if you guys have watched American Horror Story, and I think it's the first season with Lady Gaga in, I can't remember the title, it may just be AHS Hotel. That is based off H.H. Holmes because he built a murder palace basically where he lured victims in, and each of the rooms that they were put in had different methods of torture and killing in them. And yeah, the people disappeared and it took a very long time for him to be found out. So I'm excited to see how Carrie Maniscalco tackles that in the next book. But yeah, unfortunately this one was a letdown for me. I did enjoy seeing Houdini in it though, but yeah, apart from that I just did not vibe with the characters and their decisions throughout this one. So all in all, it has been a pretty mixed bag. I'm very happy to have read all of these books though. So just to wrap it up and remind you guys, I read You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Bayron. This was a YA horror slasher novel which I gave 4 stars. I really did enjoy it. Next up I read Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shea Earnshaw. This is a sequel to the Nightmare Before Christmas film. I don't feel like it added anything to my life, and upon further reflection I do think this is a 2-star read from me. Then I read the remainder of Misery by Stephen King. I'm still unsure on my rating for this one. I don't know if it's a 3.5 or a 4-star, but again, I did enjoy this one. I'm glad to have read my first Stephen King novel, and it's definitely a good one if you like an isolated setting and a little bit of suspense and body horror as well. Next up, I read my favourite book from the stack, which is Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. Again, I'm unsure on the rating. I feel like it's more of a 4.5. Doesn't quite get a full 5 stars from me. There was just something missing, but I loved this book. I had such a good experience reading it, and it's definitely my favourite of the series so far. And then we had Escaping from Houdini, which is again by Carrie Maniscalco, and as I just mentioned, I gave this one 3 stars. I enjoyed it, wasn't the best thing ever, but I'm excited to see where our characters go from here. So all in all, in the span of 24 hours, I managed to read all of these books, which is pretty impressive if you ask me, and the total number of pages that I read was 1,488. I honestly can't believe it. I am so happy that I decided to go with the timer method, even though it meant that this vlog was spread across a number of days, which I do apologise for. But I did read some good books. I'm glad that I knocked a few off of my TBR, and I hope that seeing me read these books has given you guys some sort of opinion on them and has made you either want to pick them up for yourselves or avoid them in the future. If you did enjoy this type of video, please do let me know. As I mentioned, I know it's a long one, which I do apologise for, but you guys always tell me not to apologise because you like these. So definitely comment down below if you do enjoy these and if you would like me to do another one. I am planning on filming something similar to this over the Christmas holidays because I have 2 weeks off from work. Hopefully I can do it over 2 days though, and set specific days for me to do it on so that I can do 12 hours one day and 12 hours in the next. I feel like that would work well, and it would also mean that the vlog wouldn't be extremely long and span over a few days as well. So I'm definitely playing around with that idea, and it would mean the world to me if you guys let me know your thoughts. If you would like to leave me an emoji whilst you're down in the comments to let me know that you got this far into the video, please do leave me some playing cards. I feel like it ties into Escaping from Houdini very well because cards play a massive part in this book. It is a really interesting part of the mystery, and that was an element that I really did enjoy. So if you don't have anything in particular that you would like to say but you would like to let me know that you're still here, please go ahead and comment that now. As well as that, please don't forget to click the like button if you like this video and the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content from me. But that is it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in my next video. Goodbye!